Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm here to talk to you about how do you know your artwork is finished? You've made this great portrait, and the picture looks good. You're making lots of little shapes, and you feel like it's done. You've done a lot of work on it. How do you know it's finished? I like to look at that and think, is it resolved? Has it moved beyond what it looked like when you were putting it together? Has it moved beyond what inspired it? Okay. And so here's my artwork, and I'm distracted by a couple of things. This is the photo that I traced from, right? And having that still there to me is distracting because I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, well, why didn't the artist go ahead and trace that too? And if it's just a tracing, is that really art? Um, I don't, that it is distracting me from the fact that this is art. This is something that was thought out and took some skill and took some judgment in order to create. This is a piece of art. That picture in the background is not. That needs to go. So I'm going to take that out of there. Okay. The second thing I'm looking at is, are there mistakes in here? Are there some issues with the drawing itself that are distracting? I will zoom out and I will zoom back in, and I will kind of evaluate the shapes that I've drawn and see if overall I like what I'm seeing. And I'm not crazy about something that's going on here with the eyes. I don't like this and this being so similar in color, and this giant this thing is just ugly, and I could come in here and I could tweak a lot of that. Okay, so I would spend, if I were finishing this up, I would actually spend maybe 10 more minutes just playing with these colors of these four pieces. Sometimes, though, a mistake is not something you need to worry about. Okay, like this color is wrong. That needs to be worried about. But I'm seeing these cracks in here. Are they distracting, or are they kind of something you can go with? When I zoom out, I find I don't really mind them all that much. In fact, I kind of like that they come apart, and I might want to deliberately have other parts of it come apart. So it looks like some tangible pieces of colored paper that were kind of roughly put together. Or maybe that the image is at any minute going to completely come apart. To me, it's kind of giving it a little extra life. So I might come in here and purposefully take things apart a little bit. Maybe I'll pull that out. Maybe I'll pull that out. Maybe this whole face here, I'll move that way a little bit, and I'll start to kind of back these pieces off of one another. Okay, maybe that's kind of good. In fact, I do kind of like that. All right, so that is another question that the artist always needs to ask themselves. Is it a mistake that I need to fix? Or is it a mistake that's not really a mistake, but a quality or a characteristic of the medium or technique that you're using? Is it something that's almost like the fingerprints of that medium or technique? And if it is, that's kind of good stuff. You can use that to give your piece a little bit more character. All right, so those are the types of questions that I'm asking myself when I'm asking if I'm done. All right, so how can I finish this? Your assignment today is going to be to analyze your piece and think if you're done or not, and also to try 3 different variations on what goes in that background. Like I've got plain white, which I actually kind of like. It looks like paper cut out and just kind of laying down on a table. Maybe it's ready to be glued together or something, but I kind of like that. So that's one variation. I want to do another variation. What if I put a circle of color and I push that all the way to the very back? Isn't that neat how it's coming out? Is that cool? Do we like that? I don't know. Okay, so that's another variation. And then I'm going to think about maybe I want something more complex. You know, the first two, the plain white background and the circle, both of them are very simple. And so their simplicity contrasts with the very angular nature of this drawing. So I kind of like that. I like that contrast in there. But what if I continued on with those angles? What if I made something that had shapes that just shot out from behind the actor in all kinds of cool colors? I don't know. Do I like that? Does that geometry of that background, is that kind of distracting? I kind of think it is. I kind of don't like it. But the point is to experiment, because you may find something that you do like. Okay, so 3 different backgrounds for today, and then just think to yourself, are you done? Is this a resolved piece of artwork that somehow takes the imagination beyond what it started as, beyond that original image? Okay, because photographs, I mean, we live in a world of photographs, and you can do it with your camera just so quickly. This is something different. This is something planned, and it is a relationship of your eye perceiving all the different facets of their face and playing with colors to sort of bring that geometry out or push it back. This is a special thing, okay? It's worth taking the time to really look at yourself as an artist and to really think about, um, is it finished? Is it resolved? Is it art yet? Okay. I hope you had fun with this project and have a good experience with all of that art thinking, which is as important as the seeing and the doing. Okay. Bye now.